Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Got Next Gaming and a new episode of Madden 17, our competitive rebuild with the New York Giants. This is part 3, and we are getting ready for season number 2, and we're also going to bring season number 3 in this one. So it's going to be a little bit of a long video, but we need to kind of work things out here. So let's talk about what we have so far. Let's do a little recap. We'll take a look at the team as it lines up, getting ready for season 2 here. We could see how things stack out. Looking okay for the most part. We definitely want to try to get this team improved if we can. The offense looks pretty solid. We got the rookie plugged in there as our starting running back. And we take a look at the defensive side, and I'm not thrilled with how the secondary looks right now. The back half of that secondary, the free safety and the strong safety, a little bit to be concerned. And even the outside linebackers as well. The defensive line is solid. The cornerbacks are solid. Not much depth with the cornerbacks beyond Cromartie and Jenkins, but we need to make a move here, and we need to get some depth on this team. So we're going to bring in a middle linebacker here, Bruce Carter. He's got some decent numbers, and he'll add some depth to the team. So we're going to sign him, and that'll help improve us a little bit here, at least up the middle. We do have a solid middle linebacker to begin with, but we definitely want to get some depth on this team. So moving forward, we have to get ready to set our season goal. But let's take one more look at the team before we go ahead and say what we're going to do with that goal. So this team overachieved last year as far as I'm concerned, but they seem to have some kind of chemistry that just gels, and I don't understand what it is. Even with injuries, they still are able to put up 10 wins. So looking at the defense again, we can see, like I said, up the middle, we look a little bit stronger with the middle linebacker, but still need some help on those outside linebackers and the back half of the secondary. Now, let's take a look at our season goal here. We're going to have to set it up. I'm going to say that we go and we get a little aggressive here. Maybe not so aggressive, but moderate as they're calling it. And say we're going to get 10 wins because we got 10 wins last year with pretty much the same team and a few upgrades here and there. Mostly in depth more than anything else. Not really in the starters as a stand. But we're going to stick to 10 wins, and we're going to hope that we're going to be able to provide that. We're going to go out and make a little bit of a move and get some depth for cornerbacks as well. And we're going to bring in Jaron Housley and plug him in there for a 1-year contract with $1.6 million. We got plenty of room in the cap to do so. And like I said, that'll give us a little bit more depth going up into the secondary there, as we can use all the help we can get here. It definitely adds a little bit more breathing room as far as I'm concerned, as we only had 4 cornerbacks and now we have 5. So we definitely have to cut a player, and that means that the worst overall on the team is 62. Hemingway is going to have to go bye-bye. Sorry, dude, we just don't have the room for you right now. And according to the reason for Just the Gut, you just don't meet our standards. That's right, you're a 62. You have a low overall, and you're not fitting on the team. So we're going to get rid of you. We're going to get a few dollars back in the cap space for it, for making that cut. So, is it time to get into the season here? We are ready for us to go ahead and jump ahead. We're going to do mid-season like we did with the last one, and we're going to see how things pan out after we do move ahead. We're going to see where we come out of this, and we are 4-3 at week 9. Not too shabby. Would have wanted been to a little bit better, but it's not too bad. At least we're on the winning side of things. And now with the midway point here, we're going to have to prepare for the future. And I always like to kind of go in here and take a look and see who do we have injured. So Shane Vereen, he's a backup running back. He's hurt for 2 weeks. No big deal. We do have some players to resign as well. I always like to take a look at this midseason to try to lock up the pieces that we know are going to be important going forward. Odell Beckham, Weston Richburg, definitely going to be important pieces. The fullback, Will Johnson, I could care less about. Shane Vereen, I don't know. Not too thrilled about him either. Not really sold on it. But we do have to lock up Odell. We want to give him a little bit of a longer contract and maybe take some money off of it just to kind of help with the cap a little bit. And hopefully he's willing to give us a little bit of a hometown discount here to stay with the team, as he knows we're trying to rebuild, and we are trying to rebuild around him for the most part. And as well, Weston Richburg here, we're going to extend him out and try to make him a fair deal as well. And he does sign too. So we lock up both of those guys for the long term, going 5 years out. That's going to be huge for us as we prepare to go into the next half of the season here. And then we got to see how the Giants pan out. We didn't make any moves to improve the team here halfway, but we are looking pretty solid as far as things go. And as it turns out, we are not going to make the playoffs this time around. Let's take a look at our record and see what happened. 7-9. We only won 3 more games for the rest of the season. That is not good. Something imploded here, and we need to figure out what happened and what we're going to do going forward. This is not what I expected at all. After they put up the numbers that they did last year, I was hoping for more here. So let's take a look at stats and see maybe where we kind of lacked a little bit. You see the kind of highlight stats here. Sanchez, 784 yards, 215 carries. Odell Beckham, 890 yards and 66 receptions. Found out later on that he actually got injured again, so he wasn't in the lineup, and that kind of hurts us, and we got to figure something out for that. Eli Manning put up his 3,600 yards and 22 touchdowns. Didn't look terrible there, and you can see what the offense scored and the defense allowed. The defense was actually the highlight of this team, coming in at 11th, but offense we need to work on, I guess, a lot. I guess that's where we're struggling the most. Defense kind of middle of the run there, 12th in the NFL, but points scored 26th, and that's just not going to cut it. So we're definitely going to have to make some moves in this offseason to bolster this offense, I guess. I was more worried about the defense, to be honest with you, but I guess it's the offense that kind of needs the help. Eli Manning, typical numbers, 65% completion, 22 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But here's the big one, folks, 47 sacks. He has absolutely no protection on that line. So I think that's kind of where our problem lies. Or we just need maybe a more mobile quarterback that can get away from the pass rush, if that's what it comes down to. So Sanchez Davis, as a rookie, did pretty decent for us here. We'll take it. 784 yards. He has a 3.6 average. 6 touchdowns. Vereen had 6 touchdowns, even despite being hurt as well and not playing for 2 games. And now we're going to take a look at our receivers. Looks like Victor Cruz stepped up here. Kind of a comeback player. 80 catches for 839 yards. You see Odell Beckham with the 66 for 890. And he did not play every game this season. Big story is Odell Beckham with the 7 touchdowns. But even Sterling Shepard as well, 64 catches, had 7 touchdowns too. So we're taking a look at the offensive line, and you can see sacks are the big deal here. Eric Flowers, he's a young guy. He's a young player, but 28 sacks is just not going to cut it. We're going to have to make a change there, is what I'm thinking. So we see Jadrathian coming up with his 134 tackles, as he always does, and Collins and Jenkins, Harris, Vernon, and Rogers Cromartie all factoring in there as well into the defense. We could see that there's 14 sacks by Olivier Vernon. That's pretty big. That's a pretty big deal. We're going to see what the tackles for a loss. We're going to sort that out, and we're going to see that Damon Harrison stepped up and had a lot of tackles for a loss, led the team there by far the most on this entire team. And then we'll take a look at the sacks from the top down, and we're going to see that it's Olivier Vernon, Jason Pierre-Paul with 9 sacks, and then Harris and Hankins 6.5 and 4.5 respectively. Not too bad. That defensive line we know is strong, and that's something we can kind of build around, and hopefully we can keep those pieces in place moving forward to kind of build around it and maybe bolster it, get a little more depth. I guess the depth part of it did not work out as well as I thought it would. Or maybe it did, actually, because look at Housley actually putting up some decent numbers, had 2 interceptions, and kind of factored in there pretty decently for us as a depth player. And the defense, after all, was 12th overall in points allowed, or 11th overall in points allowed. So not bad there. Got to figure out something else here. And again, like I said, I think it's got to do with that offensive line. Redskins and Chiefs are the ones that play in the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs pull this one out 31-21. So we have the winner there, and it's going to have to figure out a way to get ourselves to that big game as well. So we're going to make an offer here to Devin Kennard. We're going to give him an extra year to kind of stretch it out a little bit. He likes the offer. He's going to stay with the team as well. And we're going to take a look around to see who we want to keep. Nobody else really kind of strikes me. These are all bench players or fill-in players or depth players. And we want to kind of get a little bit better overall and maybe even a little bit younger if we can help it. And I'm really not interested in signing Jewel Johnson, even though he's an 82. I mean, it's a fullback after all. We can kind of get that anywhere we go. But it's time to take a look at free agency and see where we can make the splash to kind of make things work out. Here is a 27-year-old right outside linebacker who's a 91 overall. There's Drew Brees, who's almost 40, and he's still at 89. A couple of tempting pieces here. Jordan Matthews, 83, wide receiver. But I don't think this is the kind of route we want to go here. I think we're going to do a little bit something different. And we're going to have to kind of move some pieces around and try to, I guess, create our own depth, more or less, is what I'm looking at here. So here's Shields. He's 30 years old. He's an 81. He's a cornerback. Like I said, we were looking for more depth there. We do have Rogers, Cromartie, and Jenkins, but he kind of looks tempting to me. So we're going to go ahead and put an offer in because he's got some decent numbers here as far as man and zone, play recognition, speed, and acceleration. He's got the numbers here. Let's make him a 2-year offer. I have plans actually with him when I first saw him to maybe move him because trying to find a free safety in this league or a strong safety in this league has been a little bit of a challenge as it stands right now. So we're also going to go out and try to find ourselves a right tackle because we don't have any on the roster, and we definitely need some help there. So an 80 is going to have to do for now because there's nobody better out there really. And we're going to make him an offer of 3 years, or we'll extend it out a little bit and drop the money to make it more in our favor. You see the cap room's getting a little tight, but that's before things kind of get reset. So we'll have to make some moves for that. But folks, this one was coming, and you knew it was coming. I said it before. I am going to try to make a trade for Eli Manning, and I'm going to make it a huge blockbuster splash. I am going for the number 1 pick overall. That's right. I want the Denver Broncos pick. Number 1 overall. We got to make some changes here. Eli Manning's got to go. He's 37 years old. He is an 82, but he's just not cutting it back there. I think he's getting old and slow, and we need somebody who can be more mobile if we can't build up the offensive line to kind of support him in that way. So we'll give up our first round pick in the next draft. In this draft, and then we'll give up a round 2 pick in next year's draft. And it seems like a lot, and it is a bit steep, but we do want that number 1, and we want them to take Eli off our hands, and they do accept that offer. They're getting 2 picks. Our first round from this season, from this year, and they're getting our second round from next year, and Eli Manning does leave the team. Guys, you can get angry if you want to, but the change had to be made. He's just too old, and we have too much money buried into him to kind of continue on this way. We need to improve the quarterback situation, and we need to clear up that space to get us some room. So Shields and Lodeholt, they take our offers and they accept them, and they're going to join the team now. Those are some pretty key free agent signings, and you'll see in the future what I mean about that. Shane Crocker is the quarterback here, the number 1 rated quarterback. He looks pretty solid. He's got a good throwing arm there and pretty good throw accuracy over the mid-range. So we're going to consider him as maybe our number 1 pick overall. I was thinking maybe we can go defense as well with a linebacker, but I think we might want to do the quarterback. So we'll take a quick look at the team again here as we flash on through to kind of see what moves and changes we need to make before we go into the draft here, as we're going to draft out scout out some players to figure out what spaces need to be filled up here. So we do have some experience points to put in. We're going to auto upgrade those. You see Sanchez Davis has got 20,000 points. Hopefully that'll get him over in 79, over an overall of 80 overall would be nice. At least over 80 would be nice for him. But now it is time for that big moment. It is prime time. Welcome to the draft. This is the 2018 NFL Draft. Let's see how things are going to work out for us here. We do have a plan going forward. We need a quarterback. We need some linebacker help. But I think this one's going to kind of be an easy one for us, as, you know what, let's start from scratch with the quarterback, and we'll take Shane Crocker here. We're going to draft him. And you know what? Let's see what Adam Schefter has to say about this pick.
Adam, what can you tell us about the Giants' newest player?
This is a player that draft experts really didn't start talking about until the tail end of the season. The biggest topic of discussion was where the sudden change in production came from. I talked to his college position coach, and he told me that a nagging injury slowed him down early in the season. You can clearly see he favored one side over the other when he was put out on the field or even walking on the sidelines. After he was benched for a few weeks, he came back and played at a much higher level. Even so, some teams were still cautious and did a thorough medical examination at the combine to be sure he was completely recovered. The results must have been positive for the team to have just drafted him now. As long as he can stay healthy, I really like what he brings to this team.
Cardinals.
So there you have it. Shane Crocker is now our quarterback, and we're going to have to make it work for us. We come into our second pick here in the second round, and wasn't sure what I wanted to do here. Did we want to go tight end? The tight end looked pretty enticing to me, but I felt like we needed to go for the best player on the board with the 7.2 combine grade, and we do pick up Green Beckham here as a strong safety, 71 overall. Not bad there. Could have been probably a little bit of a better pick. Probably got somebody with a better overall, but I think he'll kind of pan out nicely for us, or at least he's a piece to trade off later on. Here with the third pick, I looked around. I didn't find anything that I really, really liked, and I decided that maybe it was time to kind of send the pick away. We'll trade it off and pick up something for later on. Maybe try to get back something from what we lost for next season. We do get back a second round and a third round pick for next year. So we pick up that second round that we lost in the trade of Eli Manning and make things work out for us in a much better way there. Now it's time to see how we panned out in the draft. I did sim the rest of it. I do not do the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. There's no point. But we can see where we are there. We pick up 2 defensive tackles, a right tackle who's a 71 from the 6th round. That's some pretty good value right there as far as I'm concerned, and maybe he'll fit in nicely for us there. And then we pick up a right end of a 68 overall later on as well, and definitely not our worst pick. It was actually the 5th round pick, the 63 overall. That was the worst one of the bunch. So taking a look at this here, like I said before, we need to make some work here with our secondary, and Sam Shields needs to be moved over. We're actually going to switch him over to free safety because Delmas is getting older, and his overall is dropping significantly. So we save the changes here, and we plug him back into place. So you can see Sam Shields is an 83 overall now as a free safety, and that kind of makes things look a lot better. And then we're going to take Anton Griffith, our pick last year, one of our draft picks last year, who's a 71 here as a strong safety. And we're going to move him off because Collins is young too, and we're going to make him a cornerback just to add some depth back to the cornerback core there for us. And here we're going to go for Kevin Pierre-Louis, the 76. He will fit in over and much improve our right outside linebacker situation with that 68 overall that we had there starting. Well, he'll fill in there nicely to give us some more strength in that position. So here we are. We're in year 3 now. We're getting ready. We got to set our season goal. This was going to be a 3-year plan. Now it kind of feels like it's going to be a 5-year plan, I think, as it turns out, with moving Eli Manning off the team, trading him away, and bringing in a rookie quarterback. I'm not sure what to expect from this season here, but we're going to make the best of it if we can, and we will try to make the necessary moves that we can to make things work out for us. Shouldn't be terrible. We definitely did some improvement on that defense, which was our strong piece last year. And we're going to be conservative, and we're going to say 7 wins because that's what we got last year. And now we have a rookie quarterback here. So we did take a hit here with our offense as far as I'm concerned. Didn't improve that offensive line in any way. Didn't improve the receiving core or the running backs in any way. The defense definitely did some improvement here as we picked up Sam Shields and moved him into free safety. He goes to an 83. Collins is up to an 81 now. But Jenkins and Rogers Cromartie are down a little bit. And that defensive line is still strong. Here's Victor Cruz. We'll take a look at that injury report before we do get into the season. He's out for 6 weeks with a dislocated hip. He's like an old man out there. And that's going to hurt a little bit as we can kind of use him, and we definitely need him. But let's go ahead and sim out to the midseason and see how things pan out for us after 9 weeks. And yes, the Giants are 5-2. Unbelievable. I definitely did not expect that, and they are looking pretty solid. Let's take a look at some of the numbers here just for a little bit as we can see the halfway mark to see how things are panning out for us. And after 8-9 games, Odell Beckham has 41 receptions, looking much better than he did the year before. And there's Shane Crocker with almost 2,000 yards already, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, looking pretty good. The completion percentage could be a little bit better at 59%, but beggars can't be choosers. Like I said, he is a rookie, and we are trying to make the best of this if we can. So not getting sacked a lot either. Odell Beckham up there with his 41 catches. Dwayne Harris with 5 touchdown catches so far, and Larry Donnell as well with 4 touchdown catches. Let's take a look at the injury report here and see how things are looking right now. And Janoris Jenkins is out now with broken ribs. He's out for 4 weeks, and that's going to kind of hurt things a little bit. But here we are again at our midway point. We got to make some moves and sign some people back in. We're going to try to keep Victor Cruz, and even though he's on the older side, he has served us well, and he has some still decent numbers here overall. It's just he gets hurt a lot, and it's one of those things. Landon Collins is now an 83 overall. He's 24 years old. We're definitely going to try to sign him to as long a contract as we can here to make it as feasible as possible, and we'll hold on to him for 4 years as he likes the offer as well. And Dominic Rogers-Cromartie is an 83. He's a little bit older, 32, but I feel like he's still got some pretty decent numbers out there. Man coverage is an 87 and play recognition is a 90. He can't shake a stick at that. And he likes the offer we make him as well, and he will stay with the team too. So those are some of the bigger ones, key players that we want to keep going into next season and beyond. And now we're getting ready to skip ahead here to the end of the regular season. We get to the playoff section here, and yes, the Giants win 10 games again. They are 10-6, and they do make it to the wild card game here for this. And again, not what I was expecting. I did not expect to make the playoffs here in the rookie season with Shane Crocker, but we did. 10-6, and you see the teams behind us: 9-7 Redskins, 9-7 Eagles, and the 8-8 Cowboys. It was a tough division this time around, as everybody kind of has a winning record, or at least 500. But let's take a look at the stats, and we can see Shane Crocker, almost 4,000 yards and 30-something touchdown passes. Sanchez Davis with 1,000 yards, and Odell Beckham with 1,200 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns, and 80 catches. That's looking much better. As we take a look at the team stats, offense ranked 10th in yards, defense ranked 1st in yards, and we can see the scoring here. Points scored 17th, not too bad, and points allowed 2nd. Our defense is actually better than it was last season. Did not expect that at all, but we'll take it, folks. I mean, that's pretty exciting stuff right there. Look at his 34 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 61% overall. And the big number here is it's 20 sacks, still on the high side, but a lot less than what Eli was getting. And I think it's because of his mobility. As you see, he has 327 yards on 85 carries. But Sanchez Davis there with the 1,000 yards, and Odell Beckham with 1,240 yards, 7 touchdowns. Shepard and Harris in there with 6 touchdowns, and Larry Donnell with 6 touchdowns as well. Shepard picking up 68 catches for almost 800 yards. We'll take a look at the sacks numbers. Eric Flowers still up there at the top of the list, but not as bad as he was last season. Looking much, much better for this team so far. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Crocker can get out of the way, or at least get out of his own way. So we can see here with our defense, Trevathan still at the top, and Pierre Lewis, we picked up, getting 100 tackles as well. Over 100 tackles, pretty good there for us. And you see Shane Crocker gets the Offensive Rookie of the Year award with his 80 overall and his almost 4,000 yards. 29,000 total XP to spend on him. We're going to auto upgrade to see how that works out for us. And he goes to an 84. 84 overall at the end of his rookie season. And we're going into the playoffs, folks, and getting ready to match up here against an 84 overall Redskins team for our Giants 81. And we're going to see how things work out here as we see the wild card round. Arizona and Carolina out there getting ready to play as well. So we're going to go through here and we're going to do the sim thing like I did before and let it kind of play out on its own. We're going to see how this works out here for us. The Giants take the lead 10-0 here by the end of the half, I believe. Nope, 10-3, 17-3. Now 24-3 here into the third. 24-17 and 31-24 and now 34-31, and your final score will be 34-31, as it was a shootout for the Giants and Redskins here in the wild card game, and the Giants pull this one out. They get the win with the rookie quarterback, as you see him right there, looking pretty stoked. I'm pretty stoked about this too. This team actually worked out better than I thought it was going to. Much better than I thought it looked on paper. But look at those numbers. Unbelievable passing and rushing yards there as the Giants win this one decisively. If you ask me whether the score was close or not, it did not look that close at all. So Sanchez Davis, 26 carries for 102 yards. And Victor Cruz and Odell Beckham. That's why we signed Victor Cruz, folks, because he can still make plays. 9 catches for both of them, 111 and 129 yards respectively. Let's take a look at the defense here. Trevathan getting up in there, and Pierre Lewis as well, along with Damon Harrison, making the moves that they got to make. So, divisional playoff time, folks. The Detroit Lions, 84 overall to our 83. Let's see what the Giants can do in this one. We're going to go ahead and do the little sim thing as well, and we're going to see how this thing pans out. I think the keys to the game here for the Giants is keeping Matthew Stafford and that offense down is going to be the big thing. As you see, we're a little bit behind, but now we finally take the lead here late in the fourth quarter. We'll tie it up, but then we get a last-minute field goal to win the game 33-30. And the Giants are moving forward again. We're going to the conference finals, folks, 33-30. We did not expect this at all. Rookie quarterback and all. You see he has himself a game, 329 yards, 71% completion. He does throw 2 touchdowns and 2 picks, but we'll take it as he throws for a ton of yards. Davis factoring with 70 yards and a touchdown. And our receiving core, a little slowed down this week, but it was spread out a little bit better with Davis, Beckham, Cruz, Shepard, and Donnell all getting in there with 4 catches at least. So now we have to go into the NFC Championship game, and we're going against the Seattle Seahawks. This is going to be a test, as Russell Wilson was the MVP this season over our rookie quarterback. And you can see the other New York team there, my Jets, are in it with Buffalo going into the AFC Championship game. This is going to be quite the battle here, as we will go ahead and do the sim thing again, as I do with these playoff games, so we can see how they pan out with the score at the top of the list there. And we're going to hear what the announcers have to say as this game comes to an end.
Charles, let's focus for a second on the losing side. In a couple months, they may look back and say, wow, it was a great season. But right now, I guarantee they're feeling no sugarcoating on this one.
And you can already see the T-shirts at training camp next year, can't you? Unfinished business. Because they've got to find a way to motivate these guys to go through all the same pain, right? All the same tough stuff, and find their way back and give themselves a chance to win this game again next year.
So there you have it, folks. Unfinished business for the New York Giants, but they have nothing to be ashamed of as they get to the NFC Championship game, and we did not expect to get there. Again, they put up some big numbers offensively, as that was what we were trying to fix here was the offense. You can see here 321 yards, 58%, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The rookie showed his inexperience here in the playoffs that he did not show in the regular season. He was poised all regular season, but he shows an experience here. And we can as we take a look at the stats, you guys can pause it if you want to check out the stats. I'm just kind of flashing them here quickly on the screen, as I am, like I said, not upset at all about what happened here. So now we got to go do some signing of free agents. We're definitely going to keep Pierre Lewis, as he played an excellent part for us with this team, and he is going to stay with us as he likes our offer. And we're going to try to keep the backup quarterback here, just kind of fill it in, so something we don't have to worry about later on. Eric Flowers did show some change here and did show some promise. We're going to give him a long-term contract, possibly trade him away if we have to, if it doesn't work out for us, but we want to keep the cap room in our favor, so we'll give him the long-term deal and he'll take it. And now going into free agency, we're going to make a move here, and we're going to go after Tamba Hall, 84 overall. He's 35 years old. I know he's older, but I feel like this can be a huge piece for us moving forward to really settle that defense in and solidify it and make it rock solid with a guy like this in here. It's going to kind of be like a 1-year type of thing, I believe. We're going to offer him 3 years only to put the cap in our favor, but that's kind of what's going to be. So, anyway, he accepts our offer, as I knew he would. Nobody else was going to make him an offer like I did anyway, with a 35-year-old right outside linebacker. But that's going to do it for this one, folks. Come on back to the next one, episode 4, part 4. It will be all about the draft and the 4th season for this rebuild of the New York Giants. Thanks for stopping by and checking it out. Please leave your comments below and a like for the video. I will see you around the channel, and goodbye now.